Ciao my dear friends, welcome. So today's class is focused on a couple of ideas that I've been thinking about. And one is community and the other is gratitude. So today is the December 8th, and in Italy it's a tradition to create all the nice things in your house for Christmas. So I have some decorations here that I put up. So I was thinking about this idea that all different ethnicities, all different countries have different traditions around Christmas and around the winter period in general, regardless of religion and these kind of things. And I believe that it's really because we need community to go through these cold, hard months. So staying inside around the fire, chanting, doing music, or telling stories while sewing or repairing things, right? So it's I like this idea of retreating inwards to stay with other people. So that was the first thought that I had, that we try to work a lot on our personal strength, and that's amazing, but let's not forget that we also need our people, and we need community. And the other thought that I based this class around was the idea of gratitude, which is very common during the festive period, but also it really speaks to me because I had an injury for a long time that did not allow me to do a lot of the poses that we're going to do today. So every time I do these poses, I remind myself that I'm so grateful that my body can do this now. And it was a sort of like an ankle sprain, so my left foot was basically hurting all the time. So I had this thought as well for anybody who is going through this type of hard times, and let's try to go through them together and to be grateful about what we have right now. So we are just going to start standing, and to create this space around us. I want us to just start bouncing slightly, staying on our toes, bouncing around, maybe walking as well, shaking our hands, so that if we have any nervous energy, anything that we are keeping inside that does not serve us, we can just let it go. And shaking it out. And find a moment of stillness with your eyes closed. Today it's a more dynamic sequence, but let's always move with a lot of intention and care for our bodies. So as long as it doesn't hurt, it's great. And my dear assistant maybe can. Okay, yes, you can see that. Okay, so let's start at the top of our mat in Tadasana. Create this strong foundation with your feet. Crown of the head towards the sky. And step back with your right leg for a crescent lunge. Think about creating this strong foundation, stacking your knee on top of your ankle. And if you keep the back heel up, no, the cat is chewing things. Yes, okay. Wonderful instructions. Okay, so if you keep your heel up This is a Asta Chandrasana position, a crescent moon. If you keep your heel down and your toes rotated slightly forward, this is Warrior 1. Virabhadrasana 1. And already standing like this, you're creating some heat. Think about hugging your ribs in. Inhale and exhale, open to Warrior 2. Adjust your feet if needed, arms parallel to the ground. And in Warrior 2, the back foot is, the external edge of the foot is about parallel to the short edge of the floor, of the mat. And your hips, contrary to Warrior 1, where your hips are facing forward, your hips here are facing towards the long edge of the mat. And use your glutes to open your front hip so that your knee is still stacked on top of your ankle. Look forward. Then reverse your warrior, looking up, breathing into the side body. And windmill forward for side angle. Here you can put, so the foundation is the same, the legs don't change, but here you can put your elbow on top of your thigh if you want, or just put your hand on the mat, inside or outside the foot, or even just use a block. The point of this pose is to stretch this long edge, this long side of the body. So you can look up towards your fingertips. And if you don't have your block ready, grab your block, and we are going to go to Ardha Chandrasana, the half moon pose. So lots of options here. You can use a block, you can put your hand on the floor, or if you have something around you that you can grab, like I have my couch here, you can also just use the couch, right? So the hips don't change. The legs really don't change that much. It's about really grounding through your front foot and rooting deep down into the earth, pressing with all your toes, so that you can be really stable on this leg. And straightening the leg, you push yourself up with the back leg slightly, and you sort of cartwheel forward, right? Pivoting on your front hip, and you stay in the same plane. So let's try it out. Sometimes it's quite challenging in terms of balance, so I'm going to use my block first. Inhale, root through the front foot. And here I'm pushing with the back foot, sort of like I'm trying to push away that wall. And it's quite challenging for me on this side, on the left side, because I had this injury. So let's try again. Side angle, putting the block in front of me. And down, cartwheel back. This time with this wide angle legged position, we're going to do goddess. Just a few times up and down, especially if your standing leg was cramping a little bit there. Goddess requires a lot of strength, especially if you want to sink down deeper. But don't forget to really hug your ribs into the midline and be completely aligned and thinking about the crown to the sky, right? And arms here can be in a prayer position, pushing your chest into this Anjali Mudra to really feel this the power that this pose creates and not collapsing, right, with the front of our body. Or I like to do cactus arms as well. So inhale and exhale, Goddess. Using my glutes to open my hips. Again, inhale and exhale to Goddess. We are going to pivot towards the back of the mat this time and repeat the sequence. So first of all, crescent lunge. With our back heel up, then back heel down, warrior one, hug your ribs in, breathe, open up for warrior two, look forward, think about drawing the energy from this strong foundation. The legs are working a lot here and shooting it out with your fingertips. When you exhale, sink deeper. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Stretch the side body, breathe into that space. Next exhale, side angle. Look up towards your left fingertips. Stretch the whole left body. Really digging deep with that back heel. So you feel this tension throughout the whole side. And let's grab our block. You can also try without a block. This is the easier side for me on the right standing leg, so maybe we can try as well. So same leg position. Side angle. I'm going to root into this leg. Keeping my hips stacked in the same plane. The balance really changes depending on where you look. So you can try looking down towards the floor, or straight ahead, or up towards the arm that is up. So I'm going to try without the block as well. Flexing the toes of my back foot. And down. Let's shake a moment. Our legs that are working hard with this sequence. And let's continue now working on our balance. So I said how it's important that we root into our toes and really using our whole foot. I also want us to think about Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. So these are the two locks in Sanskrit, and we can try to feel them right now before we jump into the next poses. So first thing first, just standing like this, I want us to maybe close our eyes, if that helps us, to feel our body, and think about lifting our pelvic floor. and hugging in gently our lower belly. So that's Mula Bandha. So release. Let's try again. Exhale, lift pelvic floor, hug our lower abdomen in. It's not very forceful, but it's there and it's supposed to be there throughout our practice. And now Uddiyana Bandha, so this lock that is on the upper side of our abdomen. So think about your belly button being connected with your spine, and your ribs, rather than being flared out, like when you are extending your back, your ribs are going to expand, right? In front, to the side. So you think about belly button to the spine and hugging our ribs in. Maybe you can see it slightly better like this. So rather than being extended here, belly button to the spine and hugging my ribs. Again, quite subtle. It's more the intention and feeling these muscles than an extremely visible thing happening, especially if you have a belly, right? You may not see a lot of stuff happening, but inside there is a lot happening. So let's choose one foot. I'll start with the left one. Full of gratitude that it can support me now after such a long journey together. Pressing all my toes into the mat. Stacking all the bones on top of our left hip. Crown towards the sky. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. And we are going to start with Garudasana, eagle. So our right leg is going to go on top, wrapped around, and for the arms, the same. So our right arm is going to go on top of our left arm, and it's going to be wrapped around. And I'm going to also sink a little bit, right? So we are not just standing tall and doing this, but we are going to sink, bending both our knee and our hip. So let's go, root. It's helpful if you look in front of you at a fixed point. Spread your wings and wrap around with the right on top. And sink a little bit. Breathe here. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Come back out. And if your standing leg allows for it, just keep standing on that leg and not put the right leg down. So now we're going to go towards Vrksasana, the tree pose. So same thing, rooting, but this time keeping just a soft bend in the knee. We are not going to sink down. And we are going to open our hip so that our knee is pointed towards the back of our mat. And you can put your foot on the floor like this, or if you want, it can be up here. It's totally fine. I like it midway, but don't push on your knee, right? So not here, because you could push on the knee directly, just slightly below. And breathe. When your leg is tired, release and shake it out. We are going to do the same two poses on the other side, Garudasana, eagle and tree. Let's try without stopping between the two. In your own practice, obviously, try to work both of the standing legs for the same amount of time and with the same amount of difficulty. Right here, I'm just showing you that you can do them separately, shaking it out, taking your time, but you can also tie them together. So I'm going to focus on my standing leg first, rooting through my toes, through my heel, stacking the hips, all the vertebrae, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and then I'm ready to lift off. And I'm going to wrap the left side on top of the right for Garudasana. Look forward, breathe, sink down a little bit, bending your knee. And come out of it and straight to tree pose. Opening the left hip this time. And I like to go up with my arms, because it reminds me of a tree a little bit more, you know, so it's fun. But if you'd like, you can also just put your hands to your hips if you know if you have an injury, for instance, or if you have any pain, that's okay. Or also just in the Anjali Mudra. Extra challenge to make this harder, you can try to close your eyes and not lose your balance. And if you lose your balance, just laugh and it's fine. It's about the intention, it's about being present in this moment. So my legs are quite tired right now, so we are going to go towards the floor. So standing at the top of your mat with hips, how do you say? Legs hip width apart or slightly more. And I like my toes to be angled about 45 degrees. And like last time, we're going to sink down slowly with control for Malasana, the yogi squat. And here as well, you can focus on Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. Slowly bending our knees and our hips. Breathing until the back of our thighs can touch our calves. And I'm going to use my hands in Anjali Mudra and my elbows in the inside of my knees to push them out gently. Mula Bandha engaged, looking forward. Retreat inwards just to see what's happening to your body. To get towards the floor, I am going to put both my hands behind me until I can just about reach the floor, especially with just one and not both of them at the same time. And I'm just going to put my butt down. Very simple. If your butt is very far, like you're maybe very tall, maybe you have very long legs, not a lot of mobility, you can put something behind you, right? First, and then you can sit down. You can use 5 cushions, it's fine. Just adapt it to what you can do today. So we're landing like this, and we're going to do reverse tabletop. Oh, the sun came out. It's blinding me. So in this position, just plant your hands and feet, and we're going to push up and think about pushing our hips up towards the sky. Inhale, exhale, engage Mula Bandha, and inhale, come up. And if your neck allows, you can also just let it hang back. Contract your glutes and back down. And from this position, we're going to do Navasana, boat pose. Lots of options here. Just make sure that you start by sitting on your sitting bones. And trying to first balance here can help yourself up. So first find your balance, helping your legs with your hands, and then let's see if you can just leave. So the strength of your core is keeping your legs up. And maybe come down and release for a second. And let's try again, let's try with a bit more fun, right? A bit more play. So rather than using a lot of force and keeping everything, let's try to add a lot of movement. So I'm going to try to tap with my feet around and maybe twist with my upper body, right? Let's see if I can talk as I do it. Okay, first coming up, finding our balance. Using my feet around, maybe straightening one leg and then the other. Chest up. Twisting with our upper back. And down. Okay, nice job. And we're going to release our back down to the ground. And I'm going to keep a block nearby. I'm going to use a wider block. Not super important if you just to explain why I have two blocks. I like this one if I have to support my back or my legs, so it's wider and it's less painful, the edges. So we're going to do bridge pose first. So I get ready by making sure that my upper body is solid against the mat. So just feel where your scapula are. Open your chest and pushing down with both our feet and our hands and our arms. Same thing as before when we were doing the reverse tabletop. So first Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha, and inhale, push to come up. Breathe. Thighs are parallel to each other, knees pointing towards the back of the mat. And I think about hip bones up towards the sky. And down slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Now for the next lift off, I'm going to grab the block and put it under my sacrum. So find the version that works best for you. You can use the block like this, so it's going to be below me, just like this, or maybe like this, or maybe on the other edge if you have a lot of space. Just so that we can stay in a supported bridge for a little while without having to use our muscles. So I'm going to go up, same thing. Inhale, Mula Bandha, and lift, hip bones towards the sky, sliding the block below my sacrum, and resting there. And start relaxing, maybe closing your eyes. Release your neck, your jaw. Relax your shoulders towards the floor. Extend one leg and then the other slightly forward, walking with your heels. Depending on how tight the front hips are, you may be able to release everything completely, or you may need to keep your knees bent a little bit. Just find what feels good in your hips right now. You can also adjust the block. That you can relax a little bit in the supported and extended bridge to open the front of the hips. They worked very hard today in all these positions with strong foundations, with balance. So this is useful to release. Release Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. You can stay here as long as you want. I'm going to slowly get you out of this position by bending one leg first, and then the other, and then slowly walking with your toes back so that you are in the first bridge position that we did. Now, optional if you want to continue for a little bit more, to do Viparita Karani, legs up the wall. So if you want, you can just move towards the wall and put your legs up there, but also you can simply do it like this with our block under our sacrum, lifting our legs up. This requires a little bit of strength to keep the legs up, so it may not be completely restful, but it's still very good to allow all the water and blood in our legs to have a chance to go the other way, contrary to gravity. Especially if this morning you were just standing or you did not walk a lot, then the physiological pumps in your heels and in your calves that allow the return of the blood, then they do not work that much. It's working that allows all the blood and the fluids in our lower legs to come up. So if you spend a lot of time standing during the day, even just before going to bed, you can just put your legs up like this, and it's a little treat. I'm grateful I can take care of my body this way. To get out of Viparita Karani, If you're up the wall, you can just first bend your knees, hug them towards the chest, and roll to one side. If you still have the block below you and you're like me on the mat, just release the legs bent in the bridge position and lift slightly your hips just to remove the block safely. And put it on one side. And hug your knees into your chest. Move a bit from side to side. Just to massage the low back. Breathe into your shoulders. Let your shoulders melt on the floor. We are going to do a little twist. So with the legs like this, just slowly allow them to fall to one side. Keeping your shoulders on the floor. Just relax here. Next inhale, come back to center, and exhale to the other side. Inhale back to neutral, and to go up to sitting position, I'm going to grab the back of my knees and swing a little bit back and forward with my legs until I naturally move the weight on my sitting bones and I can come back up to sitting. Let's find Sukhasana, the easy pose. Just cross-legged, straight back, crown towards the sky. And find a moment of stillness here. Find a sense of ease. I want to end our practice today with just a thought of gratitude and community. Can be anything that speaks to you, that bubbles up. And if nothing comes, that's okay too. Maybe you can begin with, I'm grateful for the sun in winter, my cat scratching my mouth, my ability to have fun when I fall in a pose. Find 3 little things. And I invite you to also find a way to connect with your community this week, with your family or friends. Can be just sending a stupid silly gift to somebody or little heart. There's strength in numbers. We are not made to do the hard things alone. We can, we're strong. But you can also be supported by others. There are so many people around you that are just like you, and even if you feel alone sometimes, you can always find community. This shared sense of humanity, everybody going through the same challenges, the same winter. And this brings me to thinking about unionizing, creating a class conscience. We are not made to go through the hard times together, alone. It's like penguins in Antarctica. Find your penguins. I invite you to keep these thoughts with you during this week, and thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye bye.